Okay, let's get started. It's Wednesday, December 16th, evening time for me, 6:10 p.m. here in the Chicago time zone. Prices of Bitcoin currently at $21,373. Lots of movement to the upside since the morning time. We've pretty much just knocked out a ton of upside movement. Now, right from what was it 7:30 in the morning when I woke up and started to do my analysis. Right around this area is where we were. Our long position has been averaged in from 19 to 85, somewhere down here, or sorry, somewhere down here. So we're looking pretty good, right? We've captured now. Let me see here, from 19 to 85, somewhere around here. Right, so we've captured a good 10% of the movement, and that's pretty much the length of the candle, right? We had a 10% candle right here, which is pretty massive if you think about it in Bitcoin terms. Imagine growing basically your entire market cap by 10%. So if Bitcoin's market cap is 360 billion or something, that then you just added 36 billion to your market cap just today, and that's pretty epic, right? So anyway, point is solid movement over here. Now the question is, right, after we make such an epic movement, what the heck do we do? Well, as you guys very well know, one of my understandings of markets is that generally when you have massive upside volatility or downside volatility, you're going to get some form of consolidation. Sorry about that. Let me draw it better. So when you get some big movement to the upside, you're going to get some form of consolidation. You might have some big range or chop develop, or you might even have maybe a retracement, to key fib levels. Okay, so let's start mapping out exactly where Bitcoin could come back to, just in case you are thinking about being a buyer, right? So let's talk about it. First things first, we have new pivots open. Okay, this is the new daily pivot, currently around $20,754. Okay, let's do this. Let me grab a different marker. Let's do this. So that's our first marker that we can look at just in case price comes back to retrace right there. And the other way we can look at this is, price may come back not so deep as that pivot, but it might just do, just a quick retest on this area right here and bounce back up. Remember, this was basically a triangle that was developing and then price broke out. So if price wants to come back and retest that area, well, it would be at this first yellow marker, which is $20,916. Again, these are BitMEX numbers, so please do your own research on whatever exchange that you're trading on. The next level below that, obviously, just in case we wick down really hard, is that pivot right here. And then I personally think the last marker that you definitely want to pay attention to is 20,587. Movements lower than this one, this marker right here, which is $20,485. This is where things get iffy, and I don't know, we're kind of entering a territory where, this whole move right here, if we push up and then come back around down here, you pretty much wipe out the buyers right here, you wipe out the buyers right here, and you don't really do that unless, the market itself is, I don't know, doing a leverage cleanup, because of too many leverage long positions in the market. And you typically don't have that kind of cleanup right at the beginning of the first, big day in the daily move that we just had, right? So this is why I'm kind of concerned that we should probably be, doing our best to hold this level. Now, I was telling someone else, Desmond, I think, earlier, that, we might get a retest, all right, on a weekly basis, say, next week or something, right? We might get one of these kinds of candles right here, or these kinds of candles next week, possibly, and retesting this area, which is $19,900, $20,000. And that would be good because then you get to buy like a weekly retest candle like this, and then maybe this thing is ready to start, breaking out and pushing back up pretty much at the beginning of January. And that would be a really good sign, right? If we can make it above 20K by the end of this year, that's great. That opens up the doors for more upsides because we're already in we're already in price discovery mode, right? We're above the previous all-time high. Now these pivots right here, someone was asking, like, how do you figure out and determine targets above previous all-time high or in new price discovery? Well, there's a few ways to go about it. You know, you can do a fib extension from here to here if you want to do that. And the 2.0 extension, as you can see, comes right there, pretty close to this R3 marker. If you want to have, you know, maybe utilize these pivots right here on the way up, that's another thing that you can do. You can also utilize the fibs in a different manner, which is, you know, from this key high to this key low down here, and then start utilizing fib extensions. 2.0 extension is somewhere around $37,000. Now, 37,000 would be really interesting because there were some big options call buyers who bought some options for, was it like January contracts for $36,000. But mind you, you know, these guys bought those call options somewhere when Bitcoin was at 15 or 16,000. So in any case, they're already up significantly in terms of their, the premiums of the options contracts. Okay, but I just want to mention that because that'd be really interesting if we somehow got our way up to $35,000, $36,000 as a target. Now, obviously, that is something that is, you know, much more attainable going into next year. You don't want to just speed right towards it like this week or next week or pretty much the end of the month, because once again, a healthy trend gives you far more upside than, you know, a trend that's just parabolic. Okay. So anyway, so retracement wise, like I said, right, on a weekly basis, maybe you could pay attention to 20K. Maybe you could watch these pivots on the 4-hour basis, which is around $20,600, which once again, you know, it pretty much matches up with the markers that we laid out. I don't know if we can go deeper than that on a 4-hour basis without invalidating, you know, some of this movement. So you generally don't want that. Daily basis, like I said, very good looking candle, 10% close, almost from the low to the high, it had almost a $2,300 move or so. So that's pretty epic, right? Altcoins, right? Altcoins are looking pretty solid. Our Ethereum trade, which we were averaged in from about $587 right here. We bought some right here and we bought some down here. So we got an average somewhere around 585, 587. Finally looking pretty damn good. I'm expecting ETH to start pushing up. So we're up 10% on ETH as well. Like I said before, if we can get a multi-day, you know, or a weekly close above 618, which is this marker right here. And as you can see, we had not been able to get a single daily close above that area for almost a good 2 weeks or so in this cluster. So now that we finally did it, okay, where to from here? Well, I don't think this R1 level is going to be relevant because personally, I think the biggest level that's going to be kind of like a magnet for Ethereum is going to be this marker right here. Okay, that's somewhere around $750 to $800. The fact that we've broken above, you know, the 618, 620 level makes me feel a little bit more confident for more upside. But I encourage you to be careful as we go into the end of the week because Bitcoin and altcoins have this very surprising and deadly nature where they pump earlier on in the week and then roll over and really shit the bed the second half of the week, right. Meaning, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. And you don't want to be caught in that windfall. Now, if you're, say, a dip buyer, just like I told y'all about Ethereum, or I'm sorry, Bitcoin, which are these levels down here, right? 20,000, 20,900, 20,700, and then $20,600 or so. I think Ethereum has similar levels like that too. So for example, the new pivot right now for ETH is right here around $619. If you were to wipe out, say the buyers, you know, just below this consolidation period or this one right here, and that'd be somewhere around 617 down to about 612. Now, a good even number, you could also make the argument that would be, you know, $600 or so, which would be, you know, pretty much the high of this area before ETH aggressively broke out. And this marker is right around $595 to just about $600. Okay. So I'm, once again, just saying this just so you guys can be prepared. I'm not saying that we have to dump here and then we have to retest and push back up. As I've stated numerous times, when markets are aggressively bullish, you sometimes don't really get a deep retracement. You just get something like this, chop, 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 push up, chop, 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 running flags, push up, because the reason why that happens is the market can already see the bidding activity that, over here, for example, right? I showed you all this morning when price made its way up to about 20,800. Look, it was not allowed to come back deeper past these levels because there were so many bidders just waiting just in case price dropped. And so sometimes the market kind of regulates itself, or Bitcoin regulates itself, and it says, okay, well, if there's not enough sellers, there's going to be other algos that are going to say, okay, well, shit, we don't need to worry about heading down further because we got plenty of support by these buyers, and now we could just, rocket fuel on the way up. So this support right here, when these walls popped up earlier this morning, I told y'all that, this is pretty fantastic. This was the area, if you wanted to buy in right here, that was really the area to buy in if you wanted to buy into the consolidation. Okay. So we've made our big move up. Now the question is, does this bidding activity step up to the upside and keep supporting price to drive it up further and further? Well, we'll see, right? We'll see how much energy and FOMO and real spot buying is left in the market. Personally, I think there's probably a lot left, but I'm not going to speculate and try to guess how high we're going to go. I've already talked about some of my targets of potential pivot levels and areas where I need to cut my position, which is around $21,700. That's my first marker, which is this R3 level. And then on a daily basis, you can see the R1 level right here is around 22,000. So I want to get out of my position up here, like 21.7 all the way up to 22,000, because that's generally the cluster where I had mapped out a whole bunch of activity in terms of fib levels or cup and handle measurements. This R1 level, as you can see, the 4-hour pivot level right here. Now, the other ways, I think Ezekiel, was talking about just moving up his stops. That's totally fine. The thing is, I was not prepared for the market to kind of blast off like this. I should have been, because I've been, talking about how 20K may not be strong resistance, but once it's sliced up, just as all things in trading, sometimes you're just caught flat-footed. You don't really know how to go about it. So I want to take my profit up in this region and then reestablish a new position, maybe buy some pullbacks, maybe even diversify into other altcoins or buy more spot. I don't know. But what I do know is I do want to let go of some of my, or rather close my long position in here. And FYI, I have not really closed any spot BTC positions. Okay. So we talked about ETH. By the way, ETH is actually also hitting this channel trend line up here. See this trend line? It comes from February 2020. Second touch is September 2020. Third touch right there is November. Fourth touch is December. And now we're hitting it again. So we break that to the upside, right? There's another different way you can measure that out too. See, I don't really count this because there's no bottom trend line right there. Let me see if we can fit that in, if we can at all. Let's see. Okay. So let's try to do something like this, if we can fit it in properly. So this, from a measured move standpoint, okay, this is kind of how that would get us to, wait a second, what the hell just happened? Okay, so it's going by the dollar value. So that's fine. So as you can see that the measured move right there, right? From this high to this low, that measured move comes right around $775. Okay, and I'm using this on a log scale. That's why you see this thing squeezed in, but that's kind of how you want it, right? Like you want to see that, the percentage movement from here to here is obviously going to be different rather than from here to here or here to here or here to here. So we're not picking direct dollar value. Like dollar value from here down to here is, you know, $100 or so. Okay. No, I'm sorry. The dollar value itself is what we're picking rather than the percentage value. Getting confused here. But anyway, so that puts us somewhere around 775 anyway, you know, which is our target. Let's check out Link. Okay. Let's see how Link is going. Let me see. Okay, so Link is, you know, pushing up very nicely. Link also closed above its pivot right there. Very solid sign. So, you know, if you're a buyer and you want to buy into Link, well, this is kind of your opportunity. We just broke above the pivot. Now we should be aiming into the next key resistance marker, which is this area right here, anywhere between $15.50 to about $17.25. I would probably figure that if we're pushing up from here, we're probably just going to blast up right through this general vicinity. But once more, closing of the weekly by Sunday is going to be very critical and imperative for us to understand how bullish things really are. It's like I said, you know, sometimes you do get screwed over because you bet at the beginning of the week. By the end of the week, the damn price action starts to roll over and retrace 20, 30, 40% of its movement. Not Bitcoin, but sometimes altcoins do. You know, and it kind of sucks to be in that position. So anyway, just something to keep an eye on, all right? I did post a couple things on my Twitter feed, so make sure y'all check that out. So for example, this one right here, all the strategy behind how Michael Saylor is going about, you know, pushing into Bitcoin and how other players and institutions are going to react. This is a good thread of understanding the mindset and logic behind that. So make sure y'all read this, okay? Gold is also slightly breaking out of its trend line, so that's not too bad. I have a small GLD position. You know, I'm expecting gold to push up as well, but obviously it's not going to be anywhere close to what Bitcoin is going to do. All right. Anything else I can cover? Anything you guys want me to talk about? Let's see here. I just want to check out Wi-Fi real quick too. I'll check out XRP as well. Okay, so Wi-Fi. All right. So Wi-Fi, it looks like, you know, it has its weird looking, you know, failed head and shoulders, in my opinion. I've told you all this before, you know, many times. Like, I really like failed head and shoulders patterns because they're extremely bullish. Because you get something like this, and I personally think you can ignore this wick. I think that wick is just BS. But then you get this head, and then you get this right shoulder that's small, and then you just start moving up like this. And those are really the times where I think, you know, it's the best time to get into the failed right shoulder and jump long. Your invalidation is pretty tight. If you want a deeper invalidation, you can go right around the pivot. Okay, so, you know, Wi-Fi looks pretty damn good to me. I'm still looking for some of my targets that I've drawn for Wi-Fi. 31,950 and 39,000 are the big targets that I have. Again, I'm not in this position. I'm just listing out some areas if you want to watch and take profit on. Okay, but yeah, Wi-Fi looks pretty solid. Let me see here. DeFi blue chips across the board looking good. Aave pushed up, SNX, Band, FLM, yeah, pretty much everything across the board pushed up. Crypto equity companies, you know, did a pretty decent job. The Hive BTC, Ethereum, E, this is the Grayscale contract. GBTC moved up a good 10% too. Makes sense. HUT, this is mining, moved up. Surprisingly, Galaxy Digital did not move up, and that doesn't make any sense. Galaxy is basically, you know, their own institution fund, which is kind of like a basket of cryptocurrencies like ETH and Bitcoin and XRP and a bunch of others. So kind of surprised that did not move up. But anyway, I'll look into it later. All right, so let's check out XRP. XRP obviously, you know, put in a massive bullish candle to the upside as Bitcoin started to blast off today. So did XRP. Now, XRP is really interesting because, once again, I've said before, XRP is really unique because it moved up way too fast, way too hard, more than any other altcoin. And so the retracement also makes kind of more sense that it's going to retrace much longer, possibly even much harder than other altcoins, and maybe even Bitcoin. So XRP kind of hitting that 50% fib, on the way down and up now. It's possible that maybe it doesn't go down anymore if it gets above this pivot, which is around 60 cents. But, I really don't know. Like XRP is just one of those coins where it can just really surprise you. So if you are thinking of going long on XRP, stops probably just below this marker right here. If you want to wait for confirmation for XRP, wait above the pivot, or better yet, wait above 0.70, which is above this key closing right there. Okay. But yeah, at present moment, I've kind of stated over and over many times to all the Advantage members that please do be careful shorting. Don't worry about how high Bitcoin is as a price. Focus on the value of the technicals. Okay, I've said this numerous times. And what that really means is if you're looking at this kind of structure right here and then very strong high volume breakout to the upside, who gives a shit about the price on the right? Okay, this is a strong breakout, right? Any person can look at this and say, all right, well, damn, that looks really epic. But the thing that happens with most people is, what they think about is, oh, well, 2 days ago it was 19,000. Maybe I'll wait for it to retrace and come back to 20 or 19 or 18. And those numbers really mess with you, because what you're really thinking about in terms of the asset is just raw numbers, raw value. Bitcoin is such a tedious asset that it's already hard to value as it is. So you making the argument that I believe that Bitcoin is going to retrace or should retrace doesn't make any sense when there's such a epic, bullish momentum in the market, right? So just be careful. That's all I say. I'm here to look out for you guys. I don't really care if you're short or long or spot or you're flat. I'm just trying to do my best to teach you guys, all the things that I've learned, trying to be successful over the years of being consistently profitable. We'll all make mistakes and we'll all lose money. The only way to kind of stay in the game is make sure, you don't lose your mind or your money, or your positivity for that matter. Because once you start to lose like hope and you start to lose a ton of capital, it just becomes, this vicious cycle of shit. All right. And I don't want anyone to go through that. Okay. So anyway, if you are here and talking about, if you need a conversation about what's going on in the market and you're flat footed or you don't know what to do, shoot me a message or just tag me in the Bitcoin chat. Let's check out Theta real quick. That's our other position in the market. I'm very, very happy how Theta has done. Epic movement from our entry point right here. We've done phenomenally well, 23%. This is probably my biggest winner so far out of Bitcoin and ETH. So Theta is looking pretty solid. My positions are right here. By the way, Zcash, ETH, Theta, and of course, Bitcoin longs, but I haven't updated this since December 10th. So I'll update this at the end of the week. Okay. Let me see. So yeah, Theta, I've talked about Theta. I don't think I'm going to touch it like anytime soon. In my opinion, like this is where Theta is for me. Let me see. Where the hell is it? Let me see here. Okay, so here it is. Bought this on December 10th, right? We got in around 0.706, okay? And I told y'all that one of the reasons why I got into Theta was this thing right here. Multi-week base created right here around the key SR level. And so now it's breaking out, and I think I'm gonna probably hang on to this thing at least till like $1.25, because I personally think it's going to happen. Like I think Theta being one of those NFT tokens, I think it's going to do a solid movement to the upside. So if you're not in Theta, I still personally think we got more upside. Once again, not investment advice. I think we're just breaking out. Again, don't focus on the price that it is right now or the price yesterday. Focus on the value of technicals. Like I said, the value of technicals are telling you right now that multi-week base created right here, strong weekly breakout coming, If you want, you could wait till the end of the week, or if you want, you could scale into a buy as this weekly candle gets to Sunday. Many ways to skin a cat, as they say, right? Okay. Let me see here. Nothing to talk about OBV. Obviously, Bitcoin does not give a shit about OBV right now. But the interesting thing about this is there's still some like weird OBV divergence, given the fact that this is the previous high on the OBV right here, and OBV wise right now we're much lower. But what that tells me is, now that we've broken past all-time highs, it's very possible that this thing pushes up higher and higher once Bitcoin gets to like 23,000 or 24,000 or something like that. Okay. So the OBV kind of tells me that maybe there's not a whole lot of direct buying activity on the exchange we're looking at, which is BitMax, but maybe that activity is spread. Maybe there's more spot buying going on, or maybe I don't know. Maybe there's just less sellers in the market, so you require less positive delta to move up. And there's many ways to kind of look at it. Now that we look back and in hindsight, like things always become a little bit more clear. So, and then there's nothing wrong with looking at hindsight and saying, all right, now that I have enough clues in the market, this is what I think is happening. That's literally what trading is. Sometimes you just don't have enough information and clues, and you're waiting for more information, more data to come through, more movement to happen. Then you can start understanding and positing different scenarios or different thoughts or different projections. Okay. Alrighty, that's it. That's all I got. As you can see, by the way, Bitcoin dominance is pushing up. As long as dominance keeps pushing up, I think altcoins, at least across the board, are going to struggle a little bit. So do keep an eye on that. Bitcoin is probably going to reign king as it starts pushing up over the next coming days or weeks. Okay, y'all take care. I'll catch up with you through the day or tomorrow. Cheers and good luck.